Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1990B, and today's date is October 8th, 2019, and the title of the episode is The Gathering. The storm is here. It's happening. Time to harvest. Now, before I get started, I wanted to talk about protecting yourself. With all the common threats nowadays in America, one of the best things you can invest in for your home protection is a Patriot Brother flashlight. Patriot Brother wants to extend a special 20% Patriot discount to all customers. Never waste money on batteries again. The Patriot Brother X is solar-powered, life-saving emergency strobe light. Charge your phone anywhere, anytime with the USB port. Take advantage now and give you and your family the gift of night protection. Click the link below. Let's get into the economic collapse, political and geopolitical news. Now, time is ticking down for the deep state. Trump has gathered the people together and sent a message out to the people. The message is that the storm is here. Devin Nunes lets us know that it is time to harvest. But the mainstream media is calling Barr and the Durham investigation a conspiracy theory. The deep state, the mainstream media, they are panicking. Impeachment is not going to work. The entire case is now falling apart. And the more they push, the worse it's getting. The mainstream media wants us to believe that the people are on board with impeachment, but the people see through all their lies. The storm is hitting and will cause destruction in its path. We'll be talking about this a little bit later in this report, but first, Elizabeth Warren is getting caught in her lies. Senator Elizabeth Warren, who's running for president, has been using a fabricated tale of injustice, a cornerstone of her 2020 campaign pitch, telling people that she was told not to return to teaching after a single year because she was visibly pregnant. And the principal did what principals did in those days: wish me luck and hire someone else for the job. Now, Warren's claim about her dismissal from the Riverdale Elementary School came under scrutiny last week when the journalist Megan Day of Jacobin magazine noted that Warren's story appeared to have changed over the years. Day pointed to a 2007 interview Warren gave at the University of California, Berkeley, in which she suggested that she left her teaching job after realizing the graduate school classes required for her to obtain a teaching certificate weren't going to work out for her. Take a listen to what she said.
With the children with disabilities. And I did that for a year. And then that summer, I actually didn't have the education courses. So I was on an emergency certificate, it was called. And I went back to graduate school and took a couple of courses in education and said, I don't think this is going to work out for me. And I was pregnant with my first baby. So I had a baby and stayed home for a couple of years.
Now, it is just not the recording of her. There are also minutes from a Riverdale Board of Education meeting from April 21st, 1971, which revealed the board voted unanimously on a motion to extend Warren's contract for a second year of teaching. These minutes show that the board voted unanimously on a motion to extend Warren a second year, a contract for 2 days per week teaching job. And the job was similar to the one that she held a year ago. So the minutes from a board meeting held 2 months later on June 16, 1971, indicate that Warren's resignation was accepted with regret. So once again, Warren lied. And this is not the first time, as we know. She lied on her college application saying that she was an American Indian. And she took the test, and guess what? She's not. And then Trump decided to chime in with his tweet. I think that crooked Hillary Clinton should enter the race to try and steal it away from uber-left Elizabeth Warren. Only one condition. The crooked one must explain all of her high crimes and misdemeanors, including how and why she deleted 33,000 emails after getting C subpoena. Hillary Clinton responded to Trump, "Don't tempt me. Do your job." Well, since we're talking about Hillary Clinton and we're on this subject, We come to find out that Hillary Clinton did not hand over one of her iPads requested by the FBI in their investigation related to her email abuse in 2015. This was uncovered from documents released by the FBI last week. So there was a document dump which was released late last week. We now know that one of Hillary's iPads was not provided to the FBI. One document shows in the notes from an FBI agent during an apparent interview with former Hillary aide Monica Hanley. In the notes, Monica Hanley was the recipient of Clinton's old iPad. She used it for a year. She thinks she wiped the iPad before she got it, but the iPad was still showing up as being Clinton's iPad. Now, according to the notes, the iPad was requested and returned to Hillary in October 2015, the same time that Hillary was appearing before Congress regarding her non-actions in Benghazi, which resulted in the death of 4 Americans in 2012. But according to prior reports, Hillary only handed over one iPad to the FBI. Where is the other iPad? Where did it go? What happened to it? Well, at this point, we don't know. Remember when Hillary Clinton said no president would seek help from foreign government in an election? Well, Rudy Giuliani tweeted out the following. Bill Clinton asked UK's Tony Blair to take a look at fixing problems during a 2000 political season. Hillary Clinton said that there should be no president that should seek help from foreign governments in an election. Bill did. Trump sought cooperation in a criminal investigation. And Bill Clinton asked Tony Blair for help. So back in 2000, President Bill Clinton had a conversation with Tony Blair of the UK and asked him to intercede in a dispute between British Airways and 2 carriers. The president at the time was much more direct than President Trump was in his conversation. And this is what this says. The president, no, I think about this more than anything else besides the screw-ups in the Middle East. Let me ask you something on a much more mundane issue. Yesterday, I met with some cabinet members, and Rodney Slater said we put some more ideas down to resolve the airport dispute we have with the British Airways, US Air, and American Airlines. Would you take another look at that and see if we can get it done? Prime Minister Blair, I'm not completely familiar with that. The President, I know you're up to your ears in other things, but we've been dealing with this for years and it's sort of a big deal here. Ronnie told me he put some more stuff down on the table. In a political season, it would be big over here to get this open sore resolved. If you could have somebody take a look at it, I have never seen him more agitated about anything. He is just trying to get it resolved. And look, he's asking a foreign government for help during a 2000 political season. So we are now seeing the deep state players starting to point fingers at each other. Former DNI James Clapper, he admitted on CNN that Obama made them all spy on Trump and his campaign. Take a listen to what Clapper said.
To ignore the Russian interference, ignore the Russian meddling and the threat that it poses to us. And oh, by the way, blown off what the then Commander-in-Chief, President Obama, told us to do, which was to assemble all the reporting that we had available to us and put it in one report that the President could pass on to the Congress and to the next administration. And while we're at it, declassify as much as we possibly could to make it public.
And I believe we're going to see a lot more of these individuals as the investigation starts to heat up and information starts to come out. We're going to start to see some of these individuals turn on each other and say, hey, they're the ones who told me to do this. But this brings me back to post 2959. And in this post, this is March 4th, 2019, it says, Hussein gave the order to start the spy campaign. Clapper just proved this to be absolutely correct. And we know a lot of the low-level players in all this, they don't want to go down with the ship. So they're going to start pointing fingers at other individuals that are higher up than them. I mean, look at the Bidens. They have their own trouble to deal with. Actually, the majority of the American people, they do believe that Joe and Hunter, well, they should be investigated. This is according to Investors Business Daily. They took a poll and 57% of those surveyed said yes, while 37% said no to investigation. And once again, when Trump and Giuliani and the rest put out this information and John Solomon dumps the documents and it shows that there's criminal activity, that there's quid pro quo, something is wrong and you need to investigate to see if there is corruption. Now, maybe they'll turn up to be nothing, but we know they're going to turn up a lot more than nothing. And we know that once this starts to come out in the open, it's not just the Bidens. This is going to lead to Mueller, Obama, Comey, and the rest. The deep state, they are pushing the impeachment process hard. They can't stop it. They need to continue the lie. They're continually moving forward without a vote and sending fake subpoenas to certain individuals. The deep state just ordered EU ambassador to testify at the State Department. And guess what? The Trump administration, the State Department said, absolutely not. They directed European Union Ambassador Gordon Sondland not to testify before the House Joint Committee today on impeachment. And once again, these are not subpoenas that are going out. Trump tweeted out the following: I would love to send Ambassador Sondland, a really good man and great American, to testify, but unfortunately, he would be testifying before a totally compromised kangaroo court, where Republicans' rights have been taken away, and true facts are not allowed out for the public to see. Importantly, Ambassador Sondland's tweet, which few report, stated, I believe you are incorrect about President Trump's intentions. The president has been crystal clear, no quid pro quos of any kind. That says it all. Now we find out that Pelosi and Schiff updated House impeachment process on August 12th of 2019, the same day as the whistleblower complaint, the same day where they changed the whistleblower form and they backdated everything. And this is coming out of the conservative treehouse. They reported that the House impeachment process memo was updated on August 12, 2019. The CIA operative whistleblower letter to House Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff and Senate Intel Richard Burr was on August 12th. Now, here's Speaker Pelosi's modified House rules for impeachment. And as noted, the process document was updated on August 12, 2019. Now, we don't know yet what exactly was changed from the previous version, but can point out some observations from the document. The first observation is that throughout the document, it states that Judiciary Committee holds the investigation, hearings and markups of the articles of impeachment, but the current impeachment sham is being held by the most dishonest representative in U.S. history, Schiff, also from Pelosi's state of California, who oversees the Democratic Intelligence Committee, not Judiciary. Next, it appears that the impeachment memo now allows for receipt of information from an outside source to initiate impeachment. It's not defined who that outside source can be or if that source has to recommend impeachment. With the process memo updated August 12, 2019, a whistleblower complaint proven false by the subsequent release of a transcript from the president can be enough to start an impeachment process. Outrageous. At this point, the document does not define between impeaching presidents or judges, which also is misleading. In footnotes on page 6 of the memo, it clearly states the actions taken by Congress allowing the President's counsel to respond to impeachment, the presentation of information in the impeachment. This was the case with Nixon and Clinton, but not now, not for President Trump. This was a pre-planned coup. Adam Schiff received whistleblower complaint back in August, starts to tweet out the information. Adam Schiff staffer speaks to the whistleblower. Adam Schiff leaks info to the mainstream media. The ICIG changed the forms, then backdated them, added secondhand information checkbox. House sending out fake subpoenas. Pelosi shift changed House rules on impeachment on August 12th, same day as whistleblower complaint. House is hiding the accuser, doesn't want GOP minority to participate in questioning. The House has never held a vote to impeach. Think about this. Now, we know the whistleblower forms were changed. They were backdated to fit the plan that the deep state created, and now it seems that the ICIG is being called out on backdating the whistleblower form. Sean Davis tweeted out the following. Lawmakers in both chambers have demanded that the ICIG Michael Atkinson explain why he backdated to August secret changes he made to whistleblower rules in September. Atkinson is stonewalling them, which is a weird thing to do if there's nothing to hide. And I do believe this. Now the deep state is getting desperate with the fake impeachment. Remember, it is not an impeachment proceeding. There has been no vote. This is fake. They held hearings in skiffs. They sent out fake subpoenas. And now the Democrats are going to go to great lengths to conceal the whistleblower's identity by holding his testimony in remote locations and even changing his physical appearance and voice. The Democrats also want to bar GOP lawmakers from questioning the whistleblower and only allow staffers to question him outside of the Capitol. So Trump, who's being accused, can't face the accuser? I mean, are we going back to the Soviet Union days, to Nazi trials? What are we doing here? Now, we know the deep state has brought out additional whistleblowers, and they're saying that the second whistleblower is the source for the first whistleblower. So if this is the case, we don't need the first whistleblower, we need the source of all this. So in reality, the original whistleblower is meaningless. So we need to talk to the second whistleblower, which is also meaningless because Trump released his transcript. And it seems they are using the same strategy that they used in the wrap-up smear tactic. Whistleblower number 1, here's secondhand information. Whistleblower number 2 is the source and confirms the first whistleblower. I mean, think about this. This is absolutely ridiculous and stupid. These people are really, really stupid. This is not going to work. Why? Because Trump released his transcript. What are they going to say outside of the transcript? Do they have recordings? Do they have anything? We come to find out they don't. Jay Sekulow says the transcript has already been released for the public to see. And the second whistleblower has absolutely nothing. Of course they don't. This has been pre-planned. They never expected the transcript of the phone call to be released. This would have worked beautifully if Trump didn't counter all this. But he took them by surprise. He shut them down. Now we have Bill Barr and his team. They are traveling in stealth around the world. What do I mean by this? They do not want anyone to know where they're headed, and they do not want the embassy staff to know they are coming. Bill Barr and Durham, they're wising up to the deep state crooks in the U.S. and around the world. Barr was in Italy last week, and he declined to notify the Rome embassy of his visit. Clearly, the deep state cannot be trusted. And Bill Barr and Durham, they know this. Trump knows this. And this is why they're not notifying individuals. Now, what's very interesting is that former Prime Minister of Italy, Renzi, is very upset with what Barr is looking into, indicating to some that he's a little afraid that Barr is going to figure out what they did. I think Barr already knows. Now, the New York Times wrote on Sunday, citing, of course, anonymous sources, saying that they are surprised to discover that Bill Barr had circumvented the protocols in the organization of his mission, during which he met with political officials and Italian services. And they're saying that this is out of the ordinary and this is not something that they normally do. Well, he's doing it for a reason, because many of these individuals are part of the deep state. So what are Durham and Barr really doing? They are traveling around the world, talking to sources themselves. Some of the intel agencies have been compromised, and they want to make sure they get the information directly from the source. And they don't want them to prepare anything. to hide anything. That's why they're not informing them that they're coming. And then, in the background, we hear thunder. We hear the storm, and it's getting closer and closer. Lindsey Graham gets the okay to move all of this forward. And he's starting with the Ukraine investigation. He tweeted out the following: "Have heard on numerous occasions disturbing allegations by Rudy Giuliani about corruption in Ukraine and the many improprieties surrounding the firing of former prosecutor General Viktor Shokin. Given the House of Representatives' behavior, it is time for the Senate to inquire about corruption and other improprieties involving Ukraine. Therefore, I will offer to Mr. Giuliani the opportunity to come before the Senate Judiciary Committee to inform the committee of his concerns." Now, Giuliani is going to turn everything over to the Senate. They're going to comb through this. And guess what? Everything has just begun. It is happening. Remember, this has been planned from the very beginning. And Ukraine is going to lead to many other things. Think of email. Think of Uranium One. Think of the FISA abuse. Think about the 2016 election meddling. Everything is going to be pointing to the other side. It's going to counter everything the House is doing right now. And guess what? Trump is not involved. They can't say that Trump is making a political hit. Boom. They can't move forward with impeachment. They can't back out of impeachment. They can't do anything. They have them surrounded. Let's turn to Jeffrey Epstein, Prince Andrew, and Brunel. Prince Andrew is getting caught up in his lies. First, he denied everything, saying, "That's not me in the picture. My hands are completely different." Now he's making up a completely different story. He's claiming that his star-studded 2010 trip to stay with Jeffrey Epstein in New York was to end their decades-long friendship. During the visit, Epstein threw the Queen's second son a party in the mansion's second-floor dining room. In attendance were TV anchor Katie Couric, once the highest-paid female presenter in the U.S., sat alongside comedian Chelsea Handler and close friend of Gwyneth Paltrow and Jennifer Aniston. Also, there was George Stephanopoulos. Now, ABC News chief anchor and political correspondent George Stephanopoulos had no problem hanging out at a convicted pedophile's house after everyone knew Epstein was a registered sex offender. Stephanopoulos has denied being friends with Epstein. However, that didn't stop him from breaking bread with Epstein. Also seen was, not really surprised about this, pedophile Woody Allen and his wife. And now we have Brunel. Remember, he was on the run, but the police located him using GPS. And now he is cooperating with the prosecutors in Paris who are investigating Jeffrey Epstein. Brunel is also the subject of police probe himself after 3 women came forward with allegations of sexual assault and harassment. And it looks like he's in a little bit of trouble, but he's cooperating. Think about this. Who knows where the bodies are buried? Who knows all of this? If he is cooperating, he is letting them know quite a bit. Remember, this didn't go away with the alleged death of Jeffrey Epstein. Now, out in Syria, there's a lot of news reports going around saying that the White House is confused. Trump is not removing the troops. Yes, he removed the troops from the northeast. Yes, eventually they'll be coming out of Syria, one step at a time. It's not like he removed thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands of troops. But those individuals that were in that location are being removed. But what's very interesting about all of this is, first of all, Turkey said that operation was a one-off operation where they bombed, and we know that the United States, they cut them off. Secondly, President Assad is now reaching out to the Syrian Kurdish population, asking them to rejoin the government and the people of Syria. So Trump took away that promise that the Kurds were going to get their separate country. So now that promise is gone. What are the Kurds going to do? Most likely, they're going to join up with Assad and become one country. Maybe they'll have their own location, but still under the main government of Assad, of Syria. But once again, we can see that whatever the deep state planned, it has fallen apart. Timing is everything. Trump tweeted out the following: "We may be in the process of leaving Syria, but in no way have we abandoned the Kurds, who are special people and wonderful fighters. Likewise, our relationship with Turkey, a NATO and trading partner, has been very good. Turkey already has a large Kurdish population and fully understands that while we only had 50 soldiers remaining in that section of Syria, and they had been removed, any unforced or unnecessary fighting by Turkey will be devastating to their economy and to their very fragile currency. We're helping the Kurds financially, weapons." And as you can see, we're removing everything the deep state did. Remember, these wars were created by the deep state. ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Al-Sham, Al-Nusra. This is the paid mercenary army of the deep state. They created this to remove Assad, to go into the other countries. This was the whole purpose. It's all being dismantled right now. Now, I wanted to talk about the storm and how the harvest is about to begin. I want to go back to post 3521. And this is from July 27, 2019. Q gave us a link to Devin Nunes, and it says corn ready to be cut, and there's a picture of corn. Under this, it says farms produce 5x5. So then we move to post 3525, and it's a picture, and it looks like it's an individual standing in a cornfield, maybe Comey, with the sun setting. And it says, "Was the corn ripe for harvesting?" And Q says, "It is now," and in brackets it says 93 DK, which we all don't know what that really means. But what's very interesting about these two posts, we're talking about corn, we're talking about the fields, about harvesting, that the corn is ripe. Then Devin Nunes on Instagram posted a picture of a John Deere tractor with his daughter, letting everyone know that we're ready to harvest. Then we need to go to post 3557. This is July 30th, 2019. This is another Twitter link to Devin Nunes, and it says, "Hunting for chupacabras, circa 2001. This is Devin Nunes with his hunting rifle back in 2001. And under this, it says, "Targets may be closer than they appear. Hunters become the hunted." So back then, Devin Nunes says he was hunting for chupacabras. Today, Nunes tweets out the following: "Big news from interview today. We finally located the chupacabra." Gave a link to Instagram, and it's a picture of a skull with horns, and it's a wall with an arrow, and it says Chupacabra, Latin Kitchen, and we can see that he's saying they have located the hunted, and now it's time to harvest. That brings us to the storm. Remember back October 6th, 7th, 8th, around that time period, when Trump first came out, he met with the military soldiers and their wives, and he said something to the press, "The calm before the storm." And the reporter said, "Excuse me, sir, what do you mean by the calm before the storm?" Trump replied, "You will find out." Now, this was October of 2017, around October 6th, 7th of 2017. Trump and the military and the wives posed for the same picture almost at the same exact time that he did back in 2017, letting us know the storm is here. And you can see Lindsey Graham in the Senate is leading the investigations and starting the ball rolling. Bill Barr, Durham, they're going around the world in stealth, gathering intel they didn't have, asking the original sources. It has begun. It's happening. The storm is here, and it's going to intensify and get a lot worse. The deep state, they are trapped. They box them in. The impeachment, no matter which way they go, will not work. Senator Lindsey Graham has started the investigation, which removes Trump where they can't say it's a political hit. This was all done on purpose. Think about it. They put it out there. Giuliani saying, I have the evidence, I have the evidence, I have the evidence. They thought Bill Barr was going to take this on, but Lindsey Graham is going to take this on. Nice move, patriots. Boom. The storm is here. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.